Winter can play havoc with our cars. It's a time of the year when grit, cold weather and rain can prove disastrous for all things on four wheels. It's also a period when the UK's roads are at their most treacherous, so making sure that your car is well prepared for winter can make all of the difference.
That's right. In fact, whether you're driving a traditional diesel or a cutting-edge electric car, there are a few preemptive steps that can really help protect your car over winter and make sure that you're as prepared as can be too. So today we're going to look at what you can do to prepare your car for winter. Basic maintenance is a key way of protecting your car from the elements and prolonging its life. It'll also make sure that all of the main components in your car are working as they should be while preventing the chance of a breakdown. After all, the last thing you want on a cold winter's night is to be stuck at the roadside. Let's look through some of the key checks that you can make now to ensure that your car is prepared for winter. And remember, if you have any mechanical concerns, always get your car checked out by a professional. Lights are so important during the winter time because they both illuminate the road ahead of you and ensure that you're visible to other road users. Even a quick walk around the car while the lights are switched on can ensure that you've not got any bulbs blown out. If it makes it easier, you might want to ask a friend or relative to check the lights while you operate them. Remember to check your indicators and fog lamps too, as well as your reversing light. During warmer weather, you might not have had to use your windscreen wipers all that often. However, during winter, they play a key role and as a result, it's a good idea to check them over. When operated, if they're making a screeching noise or ineffectively clearing the screen, you're best placed to swap them out for a new set. This is something that can easily be done at home, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can ask a professional at a motor parts supply store to fit them for you. Those new windscreen wipers aren't going to work effectively all on their own. You need to make sure that you've got washer fluid too. Now fortunately, it's a very easy thing to top up, with most cars having an easy to find blue cap under the bonnet. Just make sure that you top it up with proper washer fluid as opposed to just water, as this can freeze and cause damage to the system. Your car's battery is what provides the vehicle's life, and during winter, it's put under a whole lot more stress than usual. Colder weathers require more energy from your battery to get a car going. So if a battery is already on its way out, you might find that it fails when the mercury falls. If your car is already taking a little longer to start than usual, your battery might be failing already. In this instance, it's a good idea to swap it out for a fresh new one. However, if you have any concerns about your current battery, you can get it checked out at a professional garage, where they'll be able to advise you on whether or not you need to find a replacement. As you might expect from the name, antifreeze is something that you're definitely going to want to check before the temperatures really fall. It's what ensures that the water in your car's coolant system doesn't freeze. If it does, the water can expand and have a bad impact on the system. You can add antifreeze to the system yourself, though it might be better to get this checked out by a trained professional if you have any concerns.
Your tyres are the one point of contact between your car and the road. As a result, they are of vital importance and make a particularly big impact during winter time. But why do tyres make all the difference when the temperature drops and the weather worsens? Let's take a little look. Our cars are jam-packed with safety assistance systems these days. In fact, since 2011, traction control has been mandatory on all European new cars. That means this system, which helps to reduce wheel slip and prevent a skid in the process, is present on a lot of the vehicles we drive today. However, with underinflated or low tread tyres, these systems can't work at their optimum, which means that they can't prevent a skid as effectively as properly looked after tyres, so it's paramount that you check them out. As we all know, things get very wet here in the UK over winter. One of the main roles of a tyre is to displace water. The treads in the rubber allow water and mud to channel through, while the blocks of the tyre maintain contact with the road. Smaller grooves then displace any water left behind to the sides and out of the main path. So what does this mean? Well, if your tyres don't have much tread depth, then they won't be able to clear the water as well, meaning you're more susceptible to aquaplaning or skidding when the roads get wet. Falling temperatures have a big impact on your tyres too. In fact, according to tyre manufacturer Continental, when the temperature decreases by 10 degrees Celsius, tyre pressure drops between 1 to 2 pounds per square inch, or PSI. So when those temperatures go down, your tyre pressures go down with them too. It's why it's so important to double check your tyre pressures more often during winter. You'll be able to find the right pressures for your car in the vehicle handbook, on a panel behind the fuel filler flap, or inside the driver's door shut. Simply inflate them to the right pressures and you know you'll be as prepared as can be.
As we know, driving in the UK during wintertime can mean dealing with some pretty adverse conditions, including driving rain, maybe the odd bit of standing fog. But what if you're planning on travelling further afield to countries with more snow and more ice? Well, that brings with it a whole other set of requirements. Snow chains are a piece of equipment which are essential in many countries. Countries such as Germany and France require them by law in certain times of year. So it's a good idea to check before you travel to one of these countries whether you are going to have to fit snow chains when you get there. If you didn't, and you are found to be driving a car without snow chains in a country that needs them by law, then you could be liable to quite a hefty fine, so always check beforehand. As with all things, practice makes perfect, so make sure that you give it a try to fit those snow chains before you actually depart. The last thing you want to do when you're faced with really wintry conditions is to be fitting snow chains for the first time, particularly with cold hands. Snow socks are seen as an alternative sometimes to snow chains. Rather than metal chains, they use a sort of textile that wraps itself around the tyre and gives you more grip on snow and ice. Now, the downside of this is that when you are then driving on tarmac, they can wear down really quickly, so you have to whip them off right away. Also, in many of those countries that we've mentioned where snow chains are mandatory in frosty or icy conditions in certain times of month, they aren't seen as interchangeable with snow socks. So if you travel to those areas with your car on snow socks and you found that actually you needed snow chains, you can still be hit by one of those fines. Now, winter tyres are an often underused feature here in the UK, though they're gaining, if you'll excuse the pun, a bit of traction. That's because when temperatures fall, winter tyres are able to act more effectively than your traditional summer tyres. So even if you have a four-wheel drive, on summer tyres, they're not going to be able to perform to their maximum ability. Fit a set of winter tyres and you'll notice a great deal more traction, particularly on snow and ice. The downside to winter tyres, of course, is that you can't use them during summertime. They simply aren't as effective in warmer temperatures as summer tyres. You also need to factor in that you'll have to find somewhere to store those winter tyres when you take them off, and you might need another set of wheels too. The benefits really are there to be taken advantage of though. Now, lots of people might think that winter tyres are just for snow and ice, but in fact they offer so much more performance when the temperatures go down. So if you live in areas that are particularly prone to cold areas, I'm thinking the north of Scotland or certain parts of Wales, then winter tyres can play a really key role in ensuring that you stay on the move during the winter time.
Being prepared is never a bad thing, particularly when you're driving during winter. When the weather is warm, a breakdown might mean a few inconvenient hours spent at the roadside in the sun. But during winter, a mechanical issue could mean dealing with some life-threatening conditions. It's why packing a few essentials could make all the difference when travelling long distances this winter. Let's take a look at what you might need. Warm clothes are a great place to start. Packing a coat, sweater and some gloves can make sure that even if you're stuck with your vehicle for a few hours, you'll be able to keep yourself warm and protected from the elements. It's a good idea to pack a warm blanket in case you're stuck in the car for an extended period of time too. A smartphone is an essential piece of equipment, particularly in the event of a breakdown. However, a phone with a dead battery is no use to anyone, which is why having a fully charged battery pack in your car is a great idea. Even though you might charge your phone via your car's USB connection, it's best to avoid this during a breakdown, as it could leave you with a flat battery when the engine is off. You tend to spend a lot of the time driving in the dark during winter, and that means if you do have a breakdown, there's a good chance that it'll be happening at night. That's why packing a torch that's fully charged or has fresh batteries is a really good idea. You might need it to inspect your car if there's been an accident too. Again, darkness isn't your friend when it comes to visibility. A good way of making yourself more visible to other road users is by wearing some high visibility clothing. The good thing is that they're available in plenty of places, including service stations, so you should be able to pick one up easily. As we've already mentioned, colder temperatures can have a big impact on your petrol or diesel car's battery. In the event of battery failure, you might be able to get your car going again using jump leads. They'll allow you to jumpstart your car by connecting it to another running vehicle. Obviously, that won't work for an EV like this. You may also want to consider a jump pack, which is essentially like a rechargeable battery pack for your car. If your car battery fails, you might be able to get it going again with one of these. Though we're sure that everyone loves some road trip snacks, it's a good idea to have a small number of non-perishable snacks in the car that are there just in case you have a breakdown in the cold. Think cereal bars, crisps or chocolate, or other items that won't go out of date for a little while. Keep them in their own section of the car and don't be tempted to break into them during your trip. So there we have it. You've now got all the information to stay prepared and safe this winter. Come rain or shine, you now have the tools to tackle whatever comes your way on the roads during the darker, wetter months.
Absolutely. And remember, if you don't just want to prepare but instead want to buy a car this winter, Motors.co.uk has thousands of models available.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the Motors.co.uk channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive notifications when videos go live on the website.